I'm going to show you how to make a spray of Arum lilies. I've done them in quite bright colours, but that's really pretty on a wedding cake. And first of all, we start by making the centre. I've got 3 sizes here of cutters. I've made them in 3 sizes, the large, the medium and the small. You can get larger and smaller, it's your choice. And for these, I've used white wires and over-taped them with light green tape because that's the colour I wanted, but you can use dark green or do them on white if it's a wedding cake and you prefer that. I'm going to show you the large one. So for that, I've taped together 2 26 gauge wires. Just hold them together and just stretch and roll with your green tape the length. I find that 24 not quite heavy enough and 224 is a little bit too heavy. So with this 226 you've still got flexibility. And I'm just going to hook the end of that like so and do the centre. I've used the Pearl lemon paste. And the centre needs to be approximately half the height of the complete cutter. So that's your guide for the centre. So this is the largest one I'm making, so it's quite a big centre. Into a cigar shape and thread it through. Neaten off the base. Ideally let that dry. Just take it to the cutter, that's the perfect size. And then just cover it in your glue, very lightly. And then I've used yellow sugar tex, but I've mixed some corn flour with it just to make it a little lighter and a little finer, the granules are a little finer. So that's wet, I'm just dipping it in the yellow and just covering it, tap it off. And that's your centre made. So I have my centre, which I made previously, that's completely dry. Now I'm going to cut out my petal, and this is for the largest one in the spray. I'm using white. A little bit of corn flour. A little bit sticky, so I'm going for the corn flour again. And that's about the thickness I want. A nice clean cut. Just run your finger around the edge. Onto the balling pad. I'm using a bigger balling tool here because I just want to stretch this out and stretch out those sides and make them nice and thin. Gently on the point. Don't lose your rounded shape, that's important. And just balling, just really making a nice thin edge there. And then with the glue, I'm just going a little bit down the centre, across the bottom and just a little either side. Take your centre to it, the base there, go around that way and then wrap that over the top that way and just roll it around so it's nice and neat. And then just take a bit of shape to it. When it's still fine, just tip the corners back. Some more open in others. And that's your lily complete. I'm now going to show you how to dust the lilies. I've made them all white and I've dusted them after. So I'm going to do the one which I use this colour for. And I mixed it. I put some corn flour in it. Always mix these colours. If you want them lighter, just add corn flour. And a little tip, when you're dusting, always work from the paper as if you were doing an ordinary painting. I fold a piece of paper in half and I just put the powder on the paper. Any granules that aren't fine enough, you can just take them out with the brush. And then I'm just gently brushing on. This is a lily that's dry, I made earlier. Sometimes a much softer effect to dust a flower than colour the paste mauve. That would look very hard. Shall you do that edge? You need a soft brush for this. It doesn't have to be an expensive one, just a soft brush for dusting. To get depth, just keep going over it, layer on top of layer. And that's your coloured flower. Now I always put this on a piece of paper with a fold in the middle because there's no waste. Just pip it back in the pot.